Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
We are talking about Goa politics today, and I can tell you, God knows, God is my witness, that in all of India, no politics is as complex and cluttered as tiny Goa's. You might also be wondering where I am sitting and recording this because this is an unfamiliar location. So, this indeed, as you might have guessed, is a hotel location. It's a hotel coffee shop, but it's not in Goa. It's in Bengaluru, what we used to call Bangalore. But you know, Bangalore at least was an official name. In the north, we also used to commit that other crime of saying Karnataka in place of Karnataka. But that is how Akashvani or All India Radio had taught us in our childhood. So, Bengaluru in Karnataka. And if you find again this notebook unfamiliar instead of my yellow sheets, that's because I have borrowed it from our colleague and our correspondent here, Anusha Ravi, who is recording this episode of Cut the Clutter also for me on her phone. Now, Goa politics, every day there is a headline from Goa politics. ये आ रहा है, ये जा रहा है, कोई बीच में खड़ा है, और you are waiting कौन आ रहा है, कौन जा रहा है, who's coming, who's going. So, Goans, in terms of defections, counter defections, they have left poor Haryanvis behind by a long distance. We Haryanvis just got bad-mouthed and continue to be bad-mouthed because we had an MLA called Gaya Lalji who would change many parties, so it became Ayaram, Gayaram business. But look at Goa. Goa has a situation today where between the three leading contenders, there are 6 former chief ministers. I'm not counting the current one, the serving one. 6 former chief ministers in this lot. Between them have had 13 chief ministerships, 1-3. In fact, if I take one out, that is Ramnath Parsekar, who is not an MLA at this point, then 5 of them, between them, have 12 chief ministerships. 12 chief ministerships and 28 terms in the state assembly. So these are veterans, but important thing is most of them, barring the odd exception, most of them have been in multiple parties. So generally, if I look at the party record of MLAs in the current Goa Assembly, which has a strength of 40, I lose my way because I lose count. Generally, I would say average is about 4 parties per career. There are people who have 5, there are people who have 6, and there are people who have more, depending on how you count. How do you count somebody who goes to the same party 3 times and leaves it and is back there now? Has the person joined that party 4 times? Do you count that as 4 parties or 1 party? I don't know. I leave it to you. So first of all, see what's happening there. What's happening there is Goa is heading for elections. Why is it important? It is a state of just 18.5 lakh, 1/10 of Delhi or 1/10 of Mumbai. So small state. It is, because that fact has to be noted, it is also the richest state in India by way of per capita income. I mean, it's an irony that in the richest state of India now, you have TMC offering a freebie, the 5,000 rupees a month to women heads of households. That besides, it's not a state with many problems that many other states have. It is a state with problems of environment, with jobs, controversies around tourism, etc., etc. But it's not a state, it's not like Bihar or West Bengal or Uttar Pradesh or even Karnataka or Tamil Nadu with those large complexities and problems. It's a very small state. But you know what? It is still a state. State is a state. We are a federal constitution and a federal country. The chief minister of a full-fledged state has the same powers irrespective of how big or small the state is. And so a state chief minister has the police at his or her command, has lots of other things at his or her command. Those are things, for example, that Arvind Kejriwal does not have in Delhi because Delhi, as we just said, is half a state. So everybody sees every single state as a big prize. The second thing is that everybody is now looking at 2024. So every state that any party wins, if Congress wins, say even a state like Goa, they could say, oh, our recovery has started. If BJP wins again, they'll say, see, we are showing that anti-incumbency doesn't matter to us. And if TMC or Aam Aadmi Party can make impact in Goa or maybe win Goa, that will be like saying, I have won one more state. So I'm not just a single state political force. So Mamata Banerjee will say, I'm not just confined to West Bengal. Arvind Kejriwal will say, can say, I'm not just confined to Delhi. And also, unlike say Punjab, where he might have trouble finding a chief ministerial candidate because it will be tough for him to be chief minister. In Goa, he does not have that problem. He does not have to be Goa's chief minister. Goa, in any case, if anything, is a much smaller state than Delhi. Also, the important thing is everybody now thinks Goa is winnable. There is open season on Goa because one, it's a small assembly. It's not that expensive to fight an election per seat. Yes, it's not cheap, but compared to other states which have lakhs of voters per constituency, Goa does not have that issue. 40 seats divided among a population of 18 lakhs. So you can say about 1 million voters all told. It's not such a big state. The other important thing about Goa is that on the west coast, this connects Maharashtra and Karnataka. Now the BJP already has lost Maharashtra. They might not have lost it in the election, but they've lost it to a different coalition that they had never expected. On Karnataka, BJP's hold is tenuous because they did not win the election. They later put together a government through defections, and they have some dissidents. They have a very angry old man in Yediyurappa. So West Coast, Gujarat is a state that they fully own on the West Coast. So they would not like to lose another state on the West Coast. But they also know that last time in 2017 also they did not win it fair and square. In fact, they did not win it at all. It was the Congress party which had the largest number of seats, but then between Congress's laziness and the general mobility of Goa's MLAs, Goa's politicians, and also quote unquote pragmatism of Goa's politicians go with the winning side. They went with the BJP. It's a different matter that many of them since then have left the BJP, joined back BJP, have joined somebody else, have gone back to BJP, have joined somebody else, and now again talking to BJP. So in fact, the original parties, the small parties, MGP, Maharashtrawadi Gomantak Party, and Goa Forward Party, GFP, which helped the BJP form that government in 2017, are not with the BJP anymore. You want to see the ironies here? MGP is announcing an alliance with the TMC, whereas MGP's lone senior-most leader had joined TMC. So here is he going to the TMC. I will tell you his name in a minute. Here is it, because I will do a listing of the most interesting politicians in Goa. Here is he going to TMC, leaving his party, and soon enough his party is an ally of the TMC. So Goa has that kind of mobility, and that's why it's so difficult to keep track of Goan politics. But you know, these names in Goa, about 15-20 names, you will hear them all the time. They will make headlines all the time. Now, this episode of Cut the Clutter is as much about hard politics as about interesting politicians, interesting people in Goa. So I told you about this 6 former chief ministers who are still floating in the system, each one with the hope of becoming chief minister. Because you know what? Everybody thinks in a state like this, in a mixed up situation like this, who knows who can become chief minister? Mr. Churchill Alemao, who's just joined the TMC, the lone NCP MLA. In fact, as we speak, there is a headline again today because he joined TMC and he said, I'm merging my party, NCP's unit, with TMC, and his party is saying, but there was no party unit in state assembly, so what is he merging? So that tamasha goes on. Churchill Alemao has been chief minister only for 18 days. So everybody thinks I have a chance. It's a lottery. Anybody can become chief ministers. Look at the people who've been chief ministers. Congress party, Pratap Singh Rane, 6 times chief minister, 11 times MLA, is still in Congress party. He's the one man who nobody is suspecting right now will defect. But with Goa, you never know. But you know, I don't want to be unkind to him. He is seen to be solidly with the Congress party. Dikambar Kamath, also a former chief minister, now with the Congress, once chief minister, 5 times MLA, started out with BJP. Right now, he's with Congress, but looks like at this moment, he's flirting again with the BJP. So watch this space, because once again in Goa, nobody stands wherever they are for very long. They tend to be mobile between parties. BJP has Ravi Nayak, a former chief minister, twice, MLA 5 times, once a Lok Sabha MP also. He's been in Congress, in MGP, Maharashtrawadi Gomantak Party. He defected last week from Congress to BJP. So once again, All these people go here and there, and it is difficult to keep track. Then you have Ramnath Parsekar, the former chief minister. In fact, he featured also on Walk the Talk, my show for NDTV once. Ramnath Parsekar, he's not an MLA right now. He's been chief minister once, but he is in the reckoning because he's in the BJP. Then TMC, which has now got one MLA in the state assembly because they got Churchill Alemao to defect to them. They have two former chief ministers. So can you imagine that TMC has started in Goa with two former chief ministers? There is Luizinho Falero, who's been chief minister twice in the past and 7 times MLA. He's now been nominated to Rajya Sabha by TMC. So he's now a Rajya Sabha member. He's also the TMC's national vice president, or one of its national vice presidents. All political parties now have national vice presidents. These are kind of sinecures in a way because BJP, I think, has a lot of them. In fact, in the state of UP itself, in this BJP has about 17 or 18 vice presidents. So vice president is one of those titles. So he's a national vice president of TMC. Just before this, what was he doing for the Congress party? In the Congress party, guess or no prizes for guessing. He was heading the Congress party. He was looking after the northeastern region for the Congress party. And no wonder that around time he joined the TMC, a bulk of the Congress party in Meghalaya Assembly also joined the TMC. तो हम तो डूबेंगे सनम तुमको भी ले डूबेंगे और या हम तो उड़ेंगे सनम तुमको भी ले उड़ेंगे because these guys don't think they are drowning. These guys think they are deserting a drowning ship and they are finding something safer and something better. So the second former chief minister is Churchill Alemao, who I just spoke to you about. He's had many cases against him in the past. He's had a colorful life. He also is the owner of Churchill Brothers Football Club Goa, Churchill Brothers FC Goa. So to that extent, a sport-loving man is always a good man, has something good going with him at some point of time. He is a 4-term MLA and as I told you earlier, an 18-day former chief minister, and once he won Lok Sabha for the Congress. Now Congress party at this point has 3 MLAs. Remember 2017 elections, Congress party started out being the largest single party in the state. Once again tells you something about the state and its politics, also tells you something about the Congress party. So it has now 3 MLAs. Of the 3 MLAs, the first one, Pratap Singh Rane, is pretty much safe with the Congress party. The second one, Digambar Kamath, we told you, is already seen to be flirting with the BJP. And the third one, who's currently also the working president of Goa Pradesh Congress Committee, Alexio Reginaldo, he was caught, as newspaper said, red-handed, coming out of a meeting with Devendra Fadnavis of the BJP. Devendra Fadnavis, former Maharashtra chief minister, is in charge of the Goa operation for the BJP. So he was coming out and sort of looked sheepish when he was caught by the media. So we also don't know what he is doing. So that is the story of the entire Congress legislature party of 3, of which 2 are right now doddering. We don't know where they will go. He himself, Reginaldo himself, has been with Goa Forward Party, Maharashtra Gomantak Party, 3 times an independent, and no longer with BJP because he has been in the BJP before. Now there are 3 independents in this house. Once again you will say what's the big deal about independents, but House of 40 finally divided a government constituted with defectors, predominantly with defectors. 3 independents count for a lot. So 3 independents here also are tracked very, very carefully. So one of them, Rohan Khanude, is supposed to have met Mamata Banerjee just now, but meanwhile his supporters have joined the Congress party. So you don't know where the leaders are going, where his workers are going. Last elections, he was an independent but backed by the Congress party. He got elected, but in the vote of confidence in State Assembly, sure enough, he backed Manohar Parrikar. So why go with the winning side? Now he's reaching out to BJP. There is also Prasad Gauhar, who's publicly supporting the TMC, but he met Rahul Gandhi along with Vijay Sardesai, who's the most mobile of these politicians, the most mercurial. So he went with Vijay Sardesai to meet Rahul Gandhi, after which both sides tweeted pictures of them smiling, saying there is an alliance coming up, and that alliance did not happen. Then people kept asking Vijay Sardesai, when is the alliance happening? And he said I'm giving Congress party a deadline of Monday. That Monday was yesterday. Today is Tuesday already. In fact, by the time you are watching this, it may even be Wednesday. But I believe that he has given many such deadlines to the Congress in the past. But remember, in last assembly, till a day before the assembly election results, he was campaigning against the BJP, and then made a quick turnaround and went to the other side. Now, BJP's own house is not in order because Pramod Sawant, the chief minister, young chief minister, he seemed to have sidelined all of Manohar Parikar's people. And Manohar Parikar was the last truly popular leader that the BJP had in Goa. So a lot of people in the BJP are also upset. Again, ideological commitments in Goa politics are very poor. That's the reason people go left, right, center, wherever. So it's a bit like, watching Goa politics and how fungible people's ideology is with a shot at power. Reminds me of that song from a 1960s film, Upkar. उसमें गाना था विच प्राण सिंह कसमें वादे प्यार वफा सब बातें हैं बातों का क्या. तो कोई किसी का नहीं, ये झूठे नाते हैं नातों का क्या. तो सब झूठे नाते हैं, कोई किसी का नहीं है यहाँ पे. Now among these politicians, why did I say that Vijay Sardesai is probably the most interesting politician, not just in Goa but in all of India? Look at his track record. A day before the results in Goa, he had spoken and campaigned against the BJP, I told you. Next day, he decided to support the BJP government. 2017 elections, he campaigned against the BJP, personally targeting Manohar Parikar, and then went over to Manohar Parikar while the Congress was expecting him to come and sort out the problems for them and not give them up. Very next day, he changed his mind. Now he's giving the Congress party deadlines after deadlines after deadlines. He similarly played around with TMC and everybody else, and yet everybody is eyeing him because people think that he is still unhitched, right? So anybody who is unhitched is willing to hit with anybody in Goan politics right now. Churchill Alemao, he's been in 5 parties already. I told you he owns a successful football club. There is also Michael Lobo, who was a dishwashing boy, famous rags to riches story, and he now owns 3 resorts and 6 restaurants in a nice area of Goa. He's also very popular in his area. Once again, could go any side. And then there is Vishwajit Rane. Vishwajit Rane, again, he is so mercurial that in the last trial of strength in the assembly, he had come in to vote in the vote of confidence for the Congress party. And he came into the assembly, his presence was noted, and disappeared and never voted. And Congress party kept searching for him, and next day he landed up with the BJP. So with this cast of characters, no surprise that every party thinks that they have a chance in Goa, and whoever gets Goa gets a state. That is what this big fight in a tiny state is all about.